Tim's News Explosion. 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 Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's Tim's News Explosion. It is Monday, the 11th of October, 2021. We are live, as always, on the Wilmsfront YouTube and DLive channels. Hello to everyone in the live chats, as well as on the interactive entropy software, which just putting the link in now, where you can ask a direct question of myself, or even better yet, send through a super chat. It is 8:30 p.m. here in Melbourne, Victoria, where I have called today Watching Day. Reason for that is, well, we're still in lockdown here in Melbourne, and lots of regional Victoria is in what I call lockdown light. It's going to be at least another 3 weeks until the Andrews government begins the reopening process, which Sydney and New South Wales began today. The new Premier Domonic Perrottet called it Freedom Day, but many others are calling it Apartheid Day, because it's only, well, Freedom Day, modest Freedom Day to those who are fully vaccinated. I think at the time of the Sydney, New South Wales reopening, the state is 74% double jabbed of the eligible population, 16 and over. There's still lots of restrictions in place, so it is on the fully vaccinated, I should say. Apparently, the unvaccinated, I'm not sure if the unvaccinated are still under stay-at-home orders, or they're just not allowed into any venues. But yeah, for the businesses that were allowed to reopen, hairdressers, beauty, pubs, retail shops, they were only open to the fully vaccinated. And apparently the 10 permitted visitors to people's home per day, well, you're only allowed to have people over if you're fully vaccinated, and the 10 people that you invite to your home per day have to be fully vaccinated as well. I'm not sure how that's going to be enforced, given that the New South Wales Police Commissioner Mick Fuller said he's not going to even enforce the vaccine vaccine entry requirements into businesses. So on the first day of this Apartheid Segregation Day, the Service New South Wales integration of the vaccine certificate is not in the app. So you apparently in New South Wales, when I say apparently, because I'm not there, so I don't know exactly how it works, but this is my understanding of it, is that you have to QR check in first and then show your Medicare Express Plus ticked that you've been vaccinated, or a authentic hard copy of your a double jabbed vaccination status. Now, for many of those on social media, particularly the blue drops, the lockdown addicts, doom merchants, and fun haters, it's been horror day for them, and also judgment day, because they couldn't stand all these Sydney-siders going to Kmart past midnight and into today say, oh, well, this is so pathetic, them going to Kmart, is this what their life is about? Talking in that parody husky voice makes me cough. And this is not just, obviously, you expect a lot of the blue drops on Twitter to behave like this, but there is plenty of actual Sydney-siders who who are anxious about or don't like lockdown ending. This was by Ellen Hill in the Sydney Morning Herald. Lockdown should be the new normal. She says, most people erupt in joyous, leisurely latte sipping sessions. I will not be one of them. I don't want lockdown to end. There's a lot of talk in our house, the boy 20 moving to a bachelor pad with a mate. Then I remember we're in a pandemic and neither of these boys we should refer to as men can afford to leave home. I admit, relieved, even smug. So basically, she's the reason why she wants lockdown to continue this, Alan Hill, is because she's going to be an empty nester soon with her men wanting to move out of home and get on with their lives. So this is what she concludes with. Personally, I desperately want COVID-19 to leave us, but I know that when it does, our son will return to being but the mud cake boots at the front door, the discarded sock on the bedroom floor, a gentle pre-dawn tap on our outdoor bedroom door, and whispered, see ya, as he heads to work. So yes, she admits in this article she has selfish reasons for wanting lockdown not to end. I see Hadra and Mandy Billing, so many fat people are going to die in Sydney. Well, people are going to die in Sydney, yes, because people die every day, albeit with COVID or from other things. Now, the New South Wales COVID curve had been going down for the past few days. It's been under 500 cases per day, but deaths have been people dying with COVID. There have been about 5 to 10 each day. There was 8 people who died with COVID today. And this is what the blue drops are always are also freaking out about, that people are still going to be dying, and it's selfish to want to live your life when people are going to die. But as I mentioned, people die from all sorts of causes every day. Lockdown has contributed to deaths, and no matter how many jabs you take, or that elderly autoimmunocompromised people take, because booster shots are available for the severely autoimmunocompromised from today, endless jabs can't prevent humans from eventually dying. We all die in the end. Well, I'll let this news report explain the shocking consequence of being alive and living.
Coming up on Today Tonight, proof that living can kill you. Shocking new evidence that the majority of deaths occur to people who are alive.
Yes, being alive, living, being born is the first step towards eventually dying. Who would have thought that? And now, a lot of the doomsdayers and hypochondriacs fretting about today is because the children cannot yet be vaccinated. That's their biggest worry now. Even though COVID is the most mild of illnesses in children if they get it, and they are so obsessed that things can't fully go back to normal unless children are jabbed, and if they're not jabbed, then they must be muzzled at school. They want all school children from prep onwards to be muzzled at school. In Victoria, they're going to be mandating it for year 3 and above. And of course, Pfizer, they are they've probably been the most successful when it comes to vaccine PR. They've already applied to the FDA in the United States to have 5 and 11-year-olds immunized, and they've applied to our therapeutic goods administration here. But Professor Alan Shane, who was Victoria's former Deputy Chief Health Officer, said, this was his quote, "If all the stars aligned," he said, "Approval by Australian authorities was by no means guaranteed, since COVID-19 posed a very small, pretty small level of danger to this primary school age group." And he said the vaccine would have to meet a much higher bar when it came to any percent sure side effects. When looking at these kids who rarely go to hospital and as a rule don't die from COVID, that's a sort of different equation there. So yes, pretty common sense analysis there from Professor Alan Chang. I did notice that some Twitter drop accounts, particularly Mad Fucking Witches, they couldn't handle his professional medical opinion there, even though they probably loved him proposing the stage 4 lockdown for Victoria. And now, as I mentioned, that today is not Freedom Day in New South Wales. The real Freedom Day will not be realised until, well, at least December 1, when the unvaccinated are allowed to participate again in normal life, and there is no limits on private and public gatherings based on vaccination status. And some businesses in Sydney are choosing to remain closed until everybody is welcome on their business premises. One of them is Rashays, founded by Rami Ykmour. He released this message, was a number of weeks back, talking about when I think I'm pronouncing the night, Rashays will reopen.
Wow, I'm a confused man today. I'm happy for small businesses that can open up on the 11th October, including Rashays, but unfortunately we're taking a stance. Rashays is taking a stance not to open up till the 1st of December because we are all about being inclusive. My staff, who I've trained for years and years to welcome everyone with open arms, I don't want my staff to be facing arguments at the front door on why customers can or cannot come in because of their double vaccine passports. So guys, I've made a decision for the organisation. We will not be opening up till the 1st of December until everyone is welcome back in the restaurant, whether they're double vaccinated or not. See you guys soon.
Now, Rashays was one of the first targets or victims of the New South Wales mask police. There was some snitch who called the Crime Stoppers, who said, "Oh, the staff at Rashays aren't wearing masks," and they turned up to his business and they said, "Look, your staff aren't wearing masks," and he said they're eating at the moment, and they ended up arresting him there. So he's obviously been on the front line, copping the brunt of this extended Sydney lockdown. Now, there's no Rashays in Victoria, but when I'm able to go to New South Wales, I will definitely be having a meal at Rashays. Remy seems like a awesome guy, and well, I'm sure you saw in that video, just look at that huge beard that he's got. It is massive. If you saw the video of him getting arrested when he had a mask on, it barely fits over his beard there. And I should have also pointed out that another reason why it's not Freedom Day in New South Wales is because Sydney-siders are banned from going to regional New South Wales until 80% double jab target is reached. New South Wales is about at 74 at the moment. But I should also make the point that not all of the Twitter left, as they described, the blue drops are for totalitarian lockdowns. One of the progressive voices against the police state lockdowns is former Race Discrimination Commissioner Tim Supamasani. He penned this opinion piece in the Sydney Morning Herald: "Left behind, progressives need to catch up with Perrottet and stop being so afraid of freedom." Who is afraid of freedom? That is the question. Having over 100 days of not seeing friends or family, having double homeschooling, has been enough to plunge thousands of us into a state of what psychologists call languishing, not quite clinical depression, but certainly not joy either. Human beings are not built for life in lockdown, confined to our domestic dungeons there. And I saw one of the replies to Tim Supomi signing on Twitter saying, in that article, you're using right-wing talking points. These are the same people who attacked you when you're race discrimination commissioner, basically claiming that, you should always take the opposite position to whatever the right wing takes, which is basically saying he should be the ultimate reactionary, like that random blue drop was. So yes, hashtag not all progressive left are pro police state totalitarian lockdown fanatics. But as I mentioned, December 1 in New South Wales, that is when it will be something like Freedom Day. But there will still be QR codes, as far as I know. Businesses will all have to have COVID safe plans. There'll still be the 1 person per 2 square meter rule. With the international borders opening next month, there'll still be home quarantine. So for it to be a proper Freedom Day anywhere in Australia, there should be no density limits in any businesses, no gathering limits in private or public places, no masks mandated anywhere, because in New South Wales, despite it being Freedom Day, masks are still mandatory inside. It's a $500 fine if you don't wear one in New South Wales. There should be no QR codes, vaccine passports, no COVID safe plans, no quarantining requirements, and also no mass testing. We're going to be having those rapid antigen tests rolled out in November, which means that the cases will probably go up because people are recording themselves, they'll be testing themselves every day, and eventually they'll be positive there, even if they'll have no symptoms, or just, maybe just, I don't know, maybe just they had to clear their throat, and so they tested themselves there. So there is still a lot for Australia to overcome. When I say overcome, for our politicians to stop listening to the bedwetters, the doomsdayers, and just move on with life. And living with COVID means just going back to the 2019 normal, which the UK largely is. Denmark, Sweden, and Norway. Isn't it funny that progressives are always saying, follow the Nordic model in this regard? No, not that Nordic model of being free people. No. Now, as I mentioned, down here in Victoria, still at least another 3 weeks of lockdown, because even when Victoria gets to 70% double vaxxed of the eligible population, there's still going to be a 25-kilometre radius, and the outdoor masks are still mandated, which is going to be including the 10,000 fully vaccinated Melbourne Cup crowd, and they'll also have to live within 25 kilometres off Flemington Racecourse. The only real freedom, real return to normality, I should say, is at 80% double dose, which should be on and around Cup Day itself. Who knows what dates that Dan and his health officials will eventually set. But obviously, the outdoor mask mandate, if a lot of people going around Melbourne can see that it's that a lot of people are ignoring it, and even Dan himself forgot last Wednesday and Thursday that there was an outdoor mask mandate, and so he copped two $200 fines from Victoria Police, which he claims that he's already paid. And wonder if this is going to lead to an increase in cases. This is a satirical meme by the real Rakshan. Victorian is on edge tonight as anti-masker Dan puts entire state at risk of potential super spreader outbreak. Well, that's according to Dan's logic. That, yeah, these minor infractions on the rules can lead to, yeah, super spreader events. So as I mentioned there, that yeah, Dan said that, yeah, I've already paid the fines and that. Now, obviously, one of the people who was laughing at Dan forgetting his own mask mandate or was a Sky News host, Rita Panahi, and some of the blue drops on Twitter thought that they had got her because she was photographed with her son Hunter walking in Brighton maskless. But of course, the difference there is that Rita Panahi is not the person implementing a ludicrous outdoor mask mandate. And also, she hasn't defended the outdoor mask mandate either. It's a bit different from Dan, the one who's decreed the outdoor mask mandate, and then being caught outside twice without a mask. But as I mentioned last week, that a couple of outdoor mask fines are the least of Dan's worries because the IBAC hearings into Victorian Labor Party branch stacking and misuse of taxpayers' funds began today. It's one of two IBAC investigations that has links to the Andrews government. The other one is the government's union deal with the United Firefighters Union in 2016. And, well, the first day, IBAC, I should say, stands for Independent Broad-Based Anti-Corruption Commission. And this was all set off by a Nick Mackenzie's 60 Minutes, The Age expose in around about June of 2020, just before the second wave, when 60 Minutes broadcast recordings of former Labor power broker who's now been kicked out of the party, Adam Somniak, directing taxpayer-funded staff to branch stack, and also on phone taps bragging about all the power that he had. Now, the secret footage inside a parliamentary office was, well, it was the parliamentary electorate office of federal Labor MP Anthony Byrne, and he was the first witness before IBAC today, where he basically admitted that, yeah, he had participated in branch stacking. He'd paid for other members' membership fees, and said that if he didn't do this, then he wouldn't be still a MP today. He said that he did this along with Adam Somniak and Luke Donnellan, who's the Victorian Aged Care Minister and member for Narre Warren North. Luke Donnellan, he resigned this afternoon. He admitted to paying for people's Labor Party memberships, but denied that he ever misused taxpayer funds. And this is just the first day. I mean, there's days and days of these IBAC hearings to go. So given that we're in lockdown for at least another 3 weeks, I recommend logging on to the IBAC streaming service, which is free. Go to ibac.vic.gov.au. The hearings are at they're linked to an operation called it's called Operation Watts. Now, the hearings are on a 30-minute delay because if some sensitive material comes up, then they can cut the stream, which they did for an hour today when it came up. If MP's family were employed in taxpayer-funded electorate offices there. So I'd recommend, I'm not going to go there, the full web address, but the website again, ibac.vic.gov.au, and it's Operation Watts, which is you've got to follow, you've got to go to Investigating Corruption, then go to IBAC Examinations, then Operation Watts, and then video stream there. So Yeah, well, Dan's keeping you under house arrest for another 3 weeks, and including the 9 p.m. curfew. No better entertainment in town than the IBAC streaming service. I would definitely recommend it to everybody. Now, obviously, with lockdown, house arrest going for another 3 weeks. That means Victoria Police have got at least another 3 weeks of cracking down on all dissent on the street, as they did this Saturday when one of the new anti-lockdown groups had a protest. It was around about Glen Waverley, I think, at the Glen Shopping Centre there. Now, on the I think on the same day, Matthew Wong of Discernible, he aired an exclusive interview with now former acting senior sergeant Crystal Mitchell, talking about she resigned because it was just destroying her to enforce these Cho directions. She talked about her normal policing duties. I couldn't be happier in terms of the work that I do on a daily basis. But behind all that is all of my friends who that are police officers that are working on the front line and are suffering every day, enforcing Cho directions that a vast majority, or certainly a great majority, don't believe in and don't want to enforce. The consequences of being here today, as we was running from Victoria Police, effective at the end of the interview, because consequences of me coming out publicly would be dismissal. And she quite rightly highlights that public trust has been eroded in the police over the past 18 months. She also doesn't like the vaccine mandates for authorised workers, which includes Victoria police officers. And it's reported there's about 150, 200 Victoria police officers who are not happy with the mandatory jab requirements. This is the XYZ article here, which also quotes Deputy Liberal leader David Southwick. None of them signed up for this as a tough job, and I sympathise that frontline they've been forced by the Andrews government to enforce some of the toughest rules we've seen anywhere. This is not members of Victoria Police signed up for. But even Crystal said this in the interview. So it goes for an hour and a half. It's quite an extensive interview there. Matthew Wong's Discernible. He's on YouTube and also Facebook. Part of the Discernible network is also the Other Side Australia podcast with Damien Curie, who I've had on Wilmsfront. So I recommend watching it in full, so you get full context, not the sort of snippets that are shared around on social media. Naughty Design here has made the point that she wasn't on the front line herself right now. She was actually working at home in human resources in gender diversity, but she still gave up $70,000 to $100,000 per year salary. And we've seen one police officer on film saying, "I'm just." Not just saying I'm just following orders, but I'm just doing it for a paycheck. And this is why you don't see many police en masse resign, because what are they going to do without their paycheck? They've got families to support as well. So yeah, it's a big deal where when somebody has got a lot to lose to make a stand like that. Now, obviously, still grim times here in Victoria with, Melbourne is, I think it's day 253 of lockdown, accumulatively, most lockdown city in the world. And well, we're also learning this week that part of the reason why the pandemic response has been so mismanaged in Victoria, well, because a lot of the government has been focused on itself, as is seen in these IBAC hearings. They're more concerned about consolidating their own power by any means necessary, rather than serving the people. But the good news is that we should have a somewhat normal Christmas with our family and friends here in Victoria. And this nice Christmas promo for Victoria was released yesterday. Yes, it's a very realistic portrayal of Victoria Police. As you saw, they pepper sprayed an elderly person there, like they did a couple of weeks ago there. So yeah, we shall see where the end of the year brings us. A lot is riding on, well, how the New South Wales Sydney reopening fares, whether they're who knows where the cases and hospitalizations are going to go. Like, no model can really tell us, but you just hope that the bedwetters don't gain the upper hand again. I mean, Domonic Perrottet, I mean, he is much more pro-freedom than Gladys. It would be good. It would be good if he was for complete freedom and eventually got rid of this segregated apartheid economy that is now operating in New South Wales, and will probably operate in Victoria for the foreseeable future. I mean, Martin Foley today, the health minister, said the vaccinated economy will probably run all summer. Thank you, everyone in the chat, again for watching. I'll be back on Wilmsfront on Thursday evening, where I'm going to have, returning to Wilmsfront, Ken Phillips of Self-Employed Australia, who penned the original complaint to WorkSafe Victoria about the hotel quarantine failure last year, which contributed to 801 Victorians dying with COVID. WorkSafe Victoria has now charged the Victorian Health Department as an entity. So I'll be getting Ken's reaction and analysis. And also in a few Wilmsfront's time, I'm going to be speaking with a recent COVID survivor who's also been a guest on Wilmsfront, City of Dandenong Councillor Timothy Dark. He got COVID a week and a half ago. He doesn't know where he got it from, so much for Victoria's gold standard contact tracing. He's a little bit younger than me. He's not vaccinated, but miraculously he survived. He didn't need to go to ICU and be put on a ventilator. He's just got a deep chest cough. That's the only sort of long COVID that he has at the moment. So I hope to hear about his incredible story of survival in a few weeks' time, because it's defied all of the messaging that we've heard from Dan recently. Remember to keep checking out theunshackled.net on a regular basis. We've got new articles published. There's a new report from Tiger Mountain with Richard Wollstonecraft about the invisible enemies agendas, going over the ones that have occurred over the course of the 21st century. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching tonight. And I will see you on Thursday. for Wilmsfront, and of course Trad Tasman Talk Friday with Stephen Berry, 6 p.m. Melbourne time. Wilmsfront, of course, 8:30 p.m. Melbourne time. Good night, everybody. Tim's News Explosion. 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 Tim's News Explosion.